matters here, and there are two parts of the program because of that, and they're equally as important. The first part is community building, and the second part is venture development. Today, together, in terms of SocialStart trainers at this level, when we conceive of it in two, if not three different levels, with right now just two, we're dealing only with this, with venture development. And so let's talk about that from a basic level. So PresenTense developed its theory for venture development based upon a. So PresenTense developed its theory for venture development based upon a body of work that was created by a design firm by the name of IDEO. Now, IDEO is a very interesting kind of a new direction for the way that people think of business because, and this is something that's important to recognize in terms of kind of world historical shifts, right? So we as human beings, it took us a very long time to realize that you didn't have to have one person do everything, and you could have specialization of labor, right? That took a whole long time to figure out in terms of just theory and how we operate and organize. And then after the time that we figured out specialization of labor, at a certain point we realized that we can even do it even more specialized, and we created the industrial age's conveyor belt process, right? Well, at a certain point we realized that you can do it even more. You can have mass collaboration occur. But when you're talking about mass collaboration, you're bringing lots of different bodies together and you're investing those bodies in creating new products and new services and new opportunities, then the question is, well, how do you direct them all? How do you make sure that what you're doing, in terms of the work that you're doing, in terms of the product that you're creating, actually meets a need in the market? So design theory came and said, well, there's a way to do it that's not hierarchical, that's process-oriented, that enables us to look at the world in a different way. And so this is kind of what we've taken from that, and I'm sure that Tim Brown wouldn't say that this is exactly what he intended, but this is what we've taken from that. There are three stages: divergence, convergence, and emergence, or design thinking language, inspiration, ideation, implementation. Today we're dealing only with inspiration. What does that mean? It means that in divergence, a fellow, an entrepreneur, comes in and says, I have an idea. My idea is to, I always try to pick a different fellow just to make it so people don't hear the same thing every time. My idea is to recycle computers that are coming out of corporate headquarters, because corporations, once every few years, throw away all their computers, and then the question is, well, what do they do with them, right? And so the question becomes, all right, so your idea is computer recycling. So you start off right here. And then during divergence, you ask them to diverge from that idea. So why do you want to recycle those computers? What's the purpose behind that? And you start asking them to figure out what's the market context that they're operating in, and then what are the target populations they're working with, what's the value proposition of that target market, and then finally, when you get to the end, who are other organizations or actors out there that are reaching the same type of audience or providing the same type of value proposition.
What is a value proposition?
I'll explain that all later. Right, so what I'm going to do, and this is something that you'll see during the workshops themselves, PresenTense uses a narrative approach to teaching. And you'll see it when we're teaching it. What we do is we try to bridge business jargon by using a story that all of us in this room are very familiar with, which is the Exodus, the leaving of Egypt. And you'll learn about what a value proposition is based on that, and that helps you get the ability to frame actions in this world. And that's one thing that, by the way, we'll discuss a lot more, because culturally it's an interesting thing, right? So the leaving of Egypt. Some groups of people are more tied to the story, others that shy away from it. We'll discuss it later. But don't worry about that for a second. Value proposition on a very basic level is what's in it for you. So if I want to give you that, if I want to sell you that bottle of water, I need to know that there is value that I'm proposing that you will get from purchasing that bottle of water, and that value is commensurate with the cost that you're willing to pay for it. Very basically. Well, we'll talk about that in a little bit. So what we do is we try to take that person's idea and expand it as much as possible, right? And that's divergence. So at the end, the entrepreneur has a whole plethora of opportunities, a whole range of choices, through which, after which, they're going to have to make a decision. And that's convergence. Convergence, we work with them to narrow down what it is that they want to do onto a business model, and then to narrow that down even more onto a prototype, and assess that prototype and see whether it provided value. a business model is just a way of operating that provides value to someone and receives value in return. And a prototype is the minimum feasible product, the smallest amount you need to do in order to see whether that value is actually given, right? And so during the ideation stage, we take that huge range of possibilities and we make it very concrete. And then finally, once they've tested their idea, they've seen that it provides value, it adds something to this world, then we go into emergence or into implementation. Then you build the operations plan. Then you build the work plan. Then you build the budget. Then you can start raising finances. Why? Because it turns out that over time, if you don't do it, the fellows get to a place where they're starting to raise money over here, and maybe sometimes getting money from over here, for something that they don't really know works. Right? And so we enable fellows to find inspiration by working with others. We help them narrow it down by testing it in the market. And then we help them implement it by giving them all the tools that they need in order to do so. Now, the way we do it is through 7 different modules. Right? And this is the core of our program. This is the kind of the secret sauce, in a sense. And you guys, the SocialStart trainers, you'll see, are the essential element of this. So the program itself is built in such a way because entrepreneurs are very busy people. They don't have time, right? And so if you put them in front of behind a teacher, as this is in a very kind of odd industrial age dynamic in which one person is standing up and lecturing and everyone else is sitting down and listening, if you put them there, an entrepreneur says, well, I have other things to do. There's no reason for me to be here right now. So if you do that on a regular basis, they tend to tune out. So what we do is we try to minimize the amount of time that someone needs to spend in the same place and at the same time with other people. So deliverables, and I'll go through them all more often. Deliverables are just homework assignments that help provide milestones so we know that the fellow is going through the program at the same stage. And coaching is given by steering committee members who we train as well to be able to provide feedback on those deliverables. Clusters are opportunities for the fellows to work together with one another. And if their ventures are close or similar to ventures of fellows from around the world, because we have 6 programs around the world, we also help them work with those individuals. Mentorship happens with those individuals who are 40 and up, more experienced, etc. And case studies are roundtable discussions with those mentors to ask how they did it, how they came to their business idea. Workshops are the critical element, which is why you're all here today. Workshops are tool-providing sessions that give them what they need to have in order to do the deliverables, in order to meet with the coaches, in order to get into the clusters, in order to go and talk to the mentors, although the mentors might be, something could be independent, but it does certainly feed in. The workshops are the element of why we're here today, because as PresenTense grows, we only have so many people who can do the workshops currently. And our mission is to grow our impact for social enterprise, right? And in order to do that, we have you guys, hopefully. And so let me go through, the modules run all program long. Let me go through them a little bit more, but I'm going to breeze right through. Deliverables are broken into 6 different types in chunks of 2. So inspiration deliverables are vision and environmental scan, ideation deliverables are business model prototyping assessment, and implementation are operations, finance, and executive summary. And each one is either a 1-page document or a video online, or they're simple things that you can do and work with. And today you guys are going to meet with 2 deliverables as we go through the workshops. You're just going to get a sense of them as part of the workshop itself. Once they're done, the fellows have the elements of a business plan. They have their vision, they have their environmental scan, they have their business model, they have all those elements that can start them off working towards a business plan. Although we recommend not to write a business plan when you're at this early stage, because you'll spend 3 months working on a 60-page document that you'll put in a folder somewhere and forget. Coaching, we train coaches in order to provide support for the fellows as they go through their work. We're improving our training of coaches based on the wonderful feedback that we had from is okay?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, hopefully it'll be better. And in coaching, coaching, we get people who are mentors but act more on a peer level in order to read the deliverables, respond to them, work with the person, half team member, half market tester to see whether the fellow is going in the right direction. Clusters, fellows meet once a month on their own time. If it's better on by lunch, or it's better on the phone, or if it's better on web chat, and they talk with one another about their projects. We have a very specific format for how they do that. Mentorship, there are actually 3 types of mentors. There are personal mentors, subject matter experts, and case studies. Mentorship, when we talk about it in this capacity, is personal mentors, people who give up to 3 hours a month to answer emails, be on the phone, what have you. Subject matter experts who kind of give office hours. So if you're a nonprofit lawyer or an accountant, you can give 2 hours a month and people can sign up and give you a call and ask questions and the like. And then case studies are roundtable discussions with entrepreneurs who built large businesses, nonprofit organizations, etc. You can sit around and hear how they did it. And that role modeling is very important. And we need you here in a workshop capacity. So on workshops, we've specifically developed them and we've whittled them down over the years to be very concrete and very focused on the tool that we believe the fellow needs at that specific time. And we'll of course talk to them more, but the workshops happen once a month at most. Once every 6 to 8 weeks when we do them in chunks. And what that does is it reduces the amount of time that the fellows need to come together, but it increases the tools that they're able to receive. And finally, launch night. So once this is all over, we have a big celebration in different communities. People come and get to know the fellows. It's kind of, I explained it to someone as a cross between a beauty pageant and a science fair. It's the opportunity to kind of showcase and be showcased and meet people and get to know people, and it's a lot of fun. And together, holistically, these help people build their ventures. Because they're coming in with their idea, they end up with a proof of concept, or at least with the beginnings of a proof of concept. And so the issue here is that innovation has its costs. And so the challenge is for PresenTense to be able to do this in different communities around the world, we need to be compensated in a certain amount. And as an organization, we decided that it's not right for us to go and get donations from national foundations or what have you to serve a certain community. The community needs to decide that that's what they want to do. They need to be able to gather the support locally, and then we come in to be able to provide the program, right? But if we do it only with, hiring staff and growing as an organization as a big hierarchical industrial age organization, we put on a lot of weight, and we're only able to serve very rich communities. The idea for us, at least as an organization, and why we're hoping to be able to partner with all of you, is that we would like to be able to operate as a fast, enriching and enriched network. That is, to be able to work with individuals who are passionate, who are leaders of their communities, of their people, and can bring their talents and experience and their wisdom. You guys can bring your talents and experience and your wisdom together into a community of practice that's devoted to the same idea of realizing the collective potential of the Jewish people, of providing opportunities for young community entrepreneurs to take their ideas, develop new programs and services that transform the worlds around them. And on that basic level, we started thinking of, well, if we want to do that, so what are the incentives that we can provide in order to make it happen? Right? In order to get all of you here, in order to be able to support you guys, because we believe on a very basic level that it's better to do well while doing good. You shouldn't have to martyr yourself in order to serve the community. And so that's where we've brought in our other expertise, and hopefully we'll be able to make this match. So like I said in the beginning, over the past few years, we've trained over 600 Jewish professionals and also non-Jewish professionals in many of the tools that you guys are going to receive. More of the social media stuff than the business-oriented stuff. We know that there's a market out there. We know that there are people interested in these trainings. And we know that there are organizations that ask us to come and to do the workshops and we're unable to serve. So on a basic level, what we're hoping is to be able to do 2 things. One, we want to be able to provide you guys enough background, enough incentive, enough material to be able to partner with us in serving communities around the world. And of course, the compensation that comes with that when you're doing so. 2, we'd like to be able to work with you in order to see how do we extend this further. How do we take the tools that we've developed, refine them, develop on them, build on them, expand them out, and impact the world in a way that we're not able to do as a small nonprofit organization, right? And so both of those come together and result in the trainer, which is what we're hoping all of you guys can become, right? The first thing that's important to know is that it's an evolving concept. And that's something about PresenTense that you guys will get to know